I work as a startup lead in Microsoft across Central Eastern Europe, which means covering about 30 different countries, from the Baltics down to Balkans, and from Cyprus even to Kyrgyzstan.
And how would you rate the CEE region in terms of innovations and the startup culture?
The startup culture, most of all, technology and the startup in technology field is very high across the region. But most of all, it's very high in the Baltics and in the Balkans. While at the same time, all the small countries in the region are very similar in terms that where startups want to go abroad from day one. So they don't want to build their services and tools for their home country, but they want to think globally from the beginning, which is very similar across the area.
Do you think that's a good thing if a startup wants to go global straight away? I mean, surely in Estonia you want to keep the talent there, right? Or not really?
I think the point is that the customers are not in your home country. So you can build a startup where you have the development team in your home country, but you have to have your sales and marketing where your customers are. And if you're building a service for English-speaking markets, it means going there and then finding your own way. It doesn't mean that we don't talk about that we come from Tallinn or it's an Estonian startup. TransferWise, who literally started in London and in Tallinn, they have the biggest office in Tallinn today because it's much better to keep it over here. But we can still call them a startup from both cities, London and Tallinn. And I don't think it's important to really keep a startup closed in one area, but rather as the global market is very international, then the startups are also international.
How would you compare what's going on in the CEE region with Western Europe?
I think exactly what I said. If the small countries in around Central Eastern Europe, they want to go to international market in a real beginning, and they know they need to learn a lot, and they even write the code already in English because they want to make it much easier later to expand. While when you compare it with startups from bigger countries in West Europe like Germany or France, they do have very big home market as well. So their startups tend to be more internal at first, and but otherwise, in overall, I think the startup cycle as it is very similar. It doesn't really matter where you are.
What lessons do you think other countries in the CEE region can learn from Estonia? Because you seem to be ahead of the game.
I think what we're good at is really hard work, and well, definitely Skype has been one of the best motivation for our startups, because that showed you can build a world-conquering service from a very small country, and you will be able to get very talented people for different roles for that startup. So everybody knows it's possible, and there's no question that can we make it. Of course you can make it if you do it a lot. So I think a lot of other countries, if they don't have that kind of big example in front of them, then it's much harder to be the first one. At the same time, of course, I think Estonia has sold itself, Estonian government, as e-country, e-Estonia, which is always supporting the startup mentality as well. So globally, we are very well known that technology is one of the highest priorities in our country.
And would you like to see, I mean, obviously as someone who is involved with startups in the CEE region, what are your predictions for next year? Will we see a unicorn come out of the CEE region?
Well, if you mean by unicorn, whether we have new startups that are evaluated more than 1 billion, then we just have few ones like TransferWise that is evaluated more than 1 billion. I'm pretty sure that there will be a few more. But even if they don't make it the billion, I'm very confident that we will see a lot of them raising their head and being talked about on a worldwide startup scale.